Hello and welcome. I'm Damon Singleton with NOLA.com. Today is the start of our festival coverage, all brought to you by Orleans.com, where you can discover your New Orleans. In our festival coverage, you can expect everything that makes New Orleans festivals memorable. Food, music, fun, and a little lagniappe. Today we're looking ahead to French Quarter Fest, which starts today and runs all weekend. And starting next Thursday, we will be bringing you shows every morning and evening straight from Jazz Fest. And if you're ready to start planning your Louisiana adventure, visit exhilarating.com. So stay tuned. I will be right back with your festival weather and special guest.
Hi, I'm Billy Nungesser, Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Louisiana. Whether you've come from 500 miles or 5,000 miles away, I'm excited to welcome you to Louisiana French Quarter Fest. It's one of over 400 festivals that happens across the state each year. But this one celebrates the essence of New Orleans and truly captures the heart and soul of Louisiana with over 20 music stages across the French Quarter. Tons of food and music. I hope you enjoy the festival. And if you're watching from home, be sure to visit exhilarating.com and plan your trip to see everything our great state has to offer.
Hey, I'm meteorologist Damon Singleton with your French Quarter Fest forecast, and I think overall we're in pretty good shape. We've got some mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies that'll be with us pretty much all weekend long, but something you really need to be aware of is the UV index. It's at the very high or extreme range, and it'll be that way all weekend long. So you got to wear the hat, you got to put on your shades, lightweight, light-colored clothing, and you got to apply the sunscreen. Apply and reapply as necessary. Take a look at the map with me. You can see this is the front that's bringing us the rainfall chances that we have late on Saturday into your Sunday morning. This is the position of the front on Friday. Here it is on Saturday, getting a little bit closer. The worst of the weather is well off to the west of us. But for us, I think the worst of the weather is probably going to be here around 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. Here's a look at the model for Friday, and we're looking clear, not expecting much in terms of rainfall morning, afternoon, or evening. On Sunday, the morning is pretty clear, the afternoon is clear, but you can see the rain trying to sneak in from the northwest as we go into Saturday evening. On Sunday afternoon, everything clears out. So I think we're going to be done with the rainfall probably about mid-morning on Sunday. And then while I think the clouds are going to stick around into the afternoon, the rainfall isn't going to be around at all. So that's some good news for us. Here's another big thing, the temperatures. Temperatures on Friday, looks like they'll be in the mid-80s. So it's going to be kind of a hot and humid day on Friday. Hot and humid once again on Saturday. But after that front comes through, on Sunday morning, looks like the winds are going to shift, the temperatures are going to drop, the air is going to be much drier, and the rainfall is going to go away. Your afternoon highs on Sunday, upper 60s to the low 70s. So it's going to be kind of mostly sunny to partly cloudy, hot and humid on Friday and Saturday, much cooler on Sunday with some cloud cover and some strong winds, especially if you are along the river. Hey, this forecast brought to you by Entergy, powering our culture-rich home for more than 100 years.
So you like things curated with a little extra care? Good. This city doesn't do ordinary. It does unforgettable. A little indulgence? Of course, you've earned it. Culture? We wrote the book. Where dinner is more than a meal, it's an experience. And music? Oh, it finds you. This is New Orleans, curated for you. Get started at Orleans.com.
Hey, Damon Singleton here. French Quarter Fest 2026 is upon us. I'm here with Keith Spera talking all things French Quarter Fest, especially music. Keith, you look like you are dressed for the occasion.
This is how I dress every day, Damon. This is my office attire. What are you talking about? Yeah, French Quarter Fest, the 43rd annual French Quarter Fest. I mean, it's amazing that you have several 100,000 people over the course of this weekend go out there and have a good time. And the organizers are very aware of the fact that it can get a little crowded down there. So this year they've expanded the footprint a little bit down to the Governor Nichols Street Wharf. So they put a couple of the big stages over there. That's where you'll be able to see Irma Thomas and Big Frida. So they definitely are trying to make a little more breathing room.
Have you been out there?
I haven't been out there yet.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
And you should see the aerial shots. They just look amazing.
Well, no, and that's, I think what they want to do is they want to take advantage of the fact that we have this beautiful riverfront and spread people along. I asked Emily Madero, the president and CEO, the other day, is the idea to have French Quarter Festival stretch from Audubon Park to Poland Avenue at some point? And she's like, well, maybe not quite that far, but they want to have it spread along that whole riverfront and give people room to roam and have a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard some estimates where that probably about 1 million people showing up here for French Quarter Fest this weekend.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There's not an exact count because they don't have hard tickets. So there's all this sort of science to how they actually count the number of people, and a lot of those are the same people going multiple times. So you don't have 1 million individuals going to French Quarter Festival. You probably have 200,000 or 300,000 people that are going multiple times throughout the weekend. But it's still a heck of a lot of people.
Man, oh man. So music, we there are some of the same folks that we enjoy seeing and witnessing are back once again this year, and there are a couple of new people too. But why don't you tell us about the music here at French Quarter Fest?
Well, a couple of new people. Bobby Rush is on the Thursday lineup. 92 years old. He's never played the French Quarter Festival, so finally got him out there to do his thing.
92.
92, and still doing it. Still touring Europe, doing all those kind of things. Then on Friday, PJ Morton is the big name. They've done a really good job of promoting PJ Morton. He, of course, is the keyboard player in Maroon 5, in addition to having his own career as an R&B guy and gospel singer. So he's going to be doing some new stuff out there.
Real local guy too.
Absolutely. His dad, Bishop Paul S. Morton from Greater St. Stephen, so grew up here, went to St. Aug, and now has gone on to great things.
You see, that's what I was kind of leading you to. That's the whole St. Aug connection. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Really? Are you a graduate? Perhaps you are. So yeah, that's the big name on Friday. But also on Friday, people may want to check out Sally Baby's Silver Dollars. This is like one of the New Orleans buzz bands right now. They were just on NPR's Tiny Desk concert series. They're getting a lot of attention nationally, but you can still catch them on local stages, and they'll be playing over the Hand Grenade stage on Friday afternoon.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And throughout the weekend, then you'll be able to see Irma Thomas, coming up, Big Frida. Cupid, of course. I think you love doing the Cupid Shuffle, I think.
I love doing the Cupid Shuffle. You'll see me out there.
I look forward to it. But yeah, there's a little something for everyone. I mean, basically, I like to say the French Quarter Festival is Jazz Fest if you took off the top 2 lines of headliners. It's everything that's below that, you're going to see them out at the French Quarter Festival. Once upon a time, it was mostly jazz, but now it's everything. It's R&B, it's gospel, it's hip-hop, it's rock. All that stuff is out there at the French Quarter Festival for free.
That's awesome. So, your favorite, or do you have a favorite?
I am not going to pick a favorite amongst all these, but I got to say, the veteran artists, you never know how many more times you're going to have a chance to see them. Irma Thomas, for instance, still sounds great. It's incredible how well her voice has aged over the years, so I never miss an opportunity to see Irma.
I'd like to revisit some of the classics. So Irma Thomas is one of those, but the Nevilles are big for me. I love seeing the Nevilles perform.
Well, and on the same day, that Irma's out there, Cyril Neville, who is the last of the Neville brothers who is still actively making music in New Orleans, he's going to be doing his set out there. 2 of the brothers are deceased, and Aaron Neville is retired and living on a farm in upstate New York at this point. So Cyril is the last remaining active of the original generation Neville brothers. So yeah, you can check him out on Sunday.
Man, oh man. Well, I'm looking forward to all things music and all things food and all things French Quarter Fest, and I know you are too.
Yes, indeed. I'll be out there.
All right, Keith. Thanks so much.
You bet.
In my Louisiana, sunrise means fresh seafood on the table.
In my Louisiana, every meal is a celebration.
My Louisiana really makes me wonder.
Ours is fast!
With real-life swamp creatures!
In my Louisiana, music is a way of life.
My Louisiana is sheer magic, from sun up to sundown.
Till sunup again. What will your Louisiana be?
When you find your Louisiana, you feed your soul.
Damon Singleton back talking French Quarter Fest 2026. I am excited to be here with Ian McNulty, and I tell you what, Ian, every time I have friends here in town going to French Quarter Fest, I tell them to go hungry.
Absolutely right. French Quarter Fest is a feast for the senses, and food is a huge part of that feast. Now, I have to tell you, one of the reasons I love French Quarter Fest so much is the French Quarter itself, right? I mean, it's right there in the name, but truly, I feel that the French Quarter is the old neighborhood for all of New Orleans. No matter where you live, it's the place where you come to with your out-of-town guests to celebrate, to reconnect with history, to go visit these historic restaurants, do some shopping. everyone has a reason to get to the French Quarter at some point. That's why it really does feel like the old neighborhood for all New Orleans. And French Quarter Fest really shows that, including with the food. I think some people still have the idea that it's just the French Quarter restaurants themselves setting up little stalls. It's evolved much differently from that, and it truly is it's this survey of New Orleans food now, of the way that New Orleans eats today. And that runs the gamut from historic French Quarter restaurants to restaurants all over the region, pop-ups, food trucks, caterers. The diversity of flavors and the diversity of the people and the stories behind them represented in the food is as rich as all of New Orleans. And that's what makes eating there so exciting. So yes, absolutely, come with an appetite. And the best advice, really, I think, is come with some friends, because there are those of us who can spend the entire day eating one po' boy, one cup of gumbo after the next. But then the best thing to do is to share. You want a few bites, you're passing it around, and you're trying the next thing.
It was interesting to me, because I was one of those people years ago who thought that you're going to French Quarter Fest, you're going to eat food from the French Quarter. But you mentioned just places as far out as East New Orleans, and I guess on the North Shore that we have some.
Oh, sure, yeah, it really is. It really takes a wide sweep of New Orleans restaurants, the parts of town they're coming from, and the types of flavors. I'll give you just a quick example of a couple new players. There's this year some of the new additions. You've got Chicken's Kitchen, which is a West Bank phenom for plate lunches. I mean, people line up down the block for Chicken's Kitchen, whatever they're serving. They are making their French Quarter Fest debut. And they're coming in with some really distinctive dishes. Chicken, that's himself, Mr. Chicken. He's got what he calls his soul bowl. So these are bowls of all kinds of good food, like you'd get out of a hotline, combined into a little easy fest portable bowl. And the highlight of one of them is his pepper balls. So picture a seafood stuffed bell pepper. That's a New Orleans staple. He takes the filling for that, puts it on the pepper, and then fries it. So picture a stuffed bell pepper merged with a boudin ball, and that's kind of what you get as the centerpiece. Just fantastic. But another newcomer to French Quarter Fest is a very old name in New Orleans. Willie Mays. A lot of people know Willie Mays Scotch House. This is the Treme classic. We're famous for its fried chicken. I mean, it was New Orleans neighborhood famous for a long time. Then it became nationally, even worldwide famous when it got some more publicity. But that's one of the really old running names in New Orleans Creole cooking. Well, now they have Willie Mays NOLA, which is the next generation iteration of it, a restaurant, a little more modern. It's downtown. Well, they're making their French Quarter Fest debut, so they're bringing their way with chicken, which is that shattering crust that's been bringing people to Willie Mays forever. But hard to believe a name that's that familiar in New Orleans dining is making its first festival appearance this year. So that's exciting. And but you mentioned everywhere from New Orleans East. That example is Thai NOLA.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a restaurant that's it's pretty far out in the eastern stretches of New Orleans East. But it's a destination restaurant in my mind because of its way with Thai food that also blends in a bit of Creole too.
It's a distinct kind of flavor that goes with it. Yeah.
A lot of the French Quarter Fest vendors, most of them are small, family-run restaurants and food businesses. Thai NOLA is a great example. It comes from a blended family of a Thai wife with a black Creole husband. And together, they've created this restaurant that really is this interesting blend.
It's a magnificent restaurant.
Of Thai and NOLA. Yeah. And so they'll be out there at the festival again this year. Look for their ramen gumbo. Yeah. That's the dish to try.
Man, oh man. So the footprint is much larger this year, which I assume means more restaurants. But is there any particular way they're all organized?
Yeah, another fun thing about French Quarter Fest when it comes to food is how the vendors are arrayed in these sort of street food courts. Yeah. Because they're centered around these different areas, these different stages, and near places where people are going to either come through towards the music or they're listening to the music right there. A new one this year on Governor Nichols, right on the riverfront, beautiful spot. Around there you'll find, again, for the diversity, Smoke and Honey is a restaurant that's over in that area this year. And this is a Greek taverna in Mid-City that does a mashup of the New Orleans po' boy with Greek roasted lamb. They call it the Lambo. And it's delicious. They do Greek spreads. I mean, these are dishes that are being served right next to your traditional gumbo, your traditional po' boys. So it's a bit of New Orleans street food next to these different iterations from around the city. Another area, Jack's Lot, is over by the Jack's Brewery building. There, I mean, on one side of the food court, just call it a food court because that's what it is, you've got Yakima from Miss Linda Green. I mean, that's New Orleans street food incarnate. On the other side, you've got Lufu, which is an Indian restaurant of some acclaim, that's doing Indian-style tacos. You can get a tiki masala taco.
Ian, I think we could talk for 3 more days all about the food at French Quarter Fest. I'm excited about it, and I love talking to you about it because you clearly are really excited about the food here at French Quarter Fest, and there's plenty of it, and it can, whatever your taste, you can find what you like here at French Quarter Fest. Ian McNulty, thank you so much for filling us in.
Thanks for letting me talk about my favorite topic. Remember, go hungry, go with friends, share, and dig in. It only comes once a year.
Yes, I will be 10 pounds heavier by
That's
the
the
end
goal.
of this.
That's the spirit.
I'm Constantine Georges, and I'm the founder and co-owner of Dat Dog in New Orleans. Well, Dat Dog originated uptown by Tulane University on Ferret Street. And I grew up uptown when I was a young student at Tulane. And my partner at the time also grew up uptown. And that neighborhood is very central to the uptown community. Frenchman Street is the epicenter of the good music that's being played in New Orleans. It's only 2 blocks long, but I've been coming to Frenchman Street way before I owned Dat Dog to go to Cafe Brazil, where you would meet people like Joni Mitchell or Jimmy Buffett, just hanging out there in the restaurants or the bars. Well, traditionally, the way we incorporated music in Dat Dog is that we opened the windows and the doors to our place because the music on Frenchman was all on the streets and outside. Sadly, though, when COVID hit, all of that dried up. The bars were not allowed to open like they used to. The clubs were not allowed to open. But we were allowed to open because we were a restaurant. And having a nice balcony, we decided to put a baby grand piano on the balcony, very distant from the people, but we kept the music alive. And that was the idea, is to keep the music alive throughout the pandemic. We are a combination of European meets New Orleans. We have sausages that came from Europe, Polish kielbasa, Slovenian sausage, Irish Guinness sausages. And then we teamed up with people like the Vaucresons to do their hot sausage, or alligator sausage, or the crawfish sausage, or the duck sausage.
Unfortunately, after Katrina, our facility was ruined, and we haven't had a chance to go back into full-scale production to provide our products on the retail level. What we did do was maintain our presence in the food vending concessions market at our local festivals. These festivals have allowed us to keep our brand out there, as well as our participation in sales to local restaurants that have sold us for many years, including Dookie Chase Restaurant, who has bought our product for over 75 years. Miss Chase was a customer of my grandfather, and that loyalty has meant the world to us. But we make sure that now, as we move into this next generation, that we will soon be able to make our products available not only back into the grocery stores, but we're also thankful to outlets like Dat Dog, who brought us in knowing that we wanted to get our brand back out into the marketplace, which allowed us to have our product presented as they grew. It allows us to grow. And I'm so thankful to the Georges family for that opportunity.
Now I want you to know something about this room that I'm giving the interview in. This is our crew of Chewbacca's room. What does that mean? Well, you see the drunken Wookiee behind me, okay? But I had this idea years ago that we would try to do at Dat Dog what Antoine's did for the crew of Rex or the crew of Proteus. I said we should have a room dedicated to those great carnival organizations that march along Frenchman Street.
Hi, I'm Hannah Levitin. I'm a reporter with the Times-Picayune. Thank you so much for joining our live coverage this year of French Quarter Fest. Now I'm going to be turning it over to our reporter, Casey Bubnash, who is already joining in on the festivities. Let's take a peek.
Hey y'all, I'm Casey Bubnash. I'm out here with NOLA.com at the French Quarter Festival. It's the first day. We're gonna try some food. We're gonna meet some people. Come on. So tell us your names.
I'm Annie. Marina.
And you are mother and daughter?
Yes.
Yes. And tell us about your hats. What was the inspiration?
I love meat pies. So this is a crawfish meat pie. This is a shotgun house I also made.
And why are you out here today?
Because we have to eat and listen to good music. And it's the first day, and it's usually my favorite because it's not so crowded. I'm sure it'll be later, but yeah.
How long have you been coming to French Quarter Fest?
Oh, pretty much every year. Yeah, forever.
All right, well, thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Have a great day. All right, here we are at Jackson Square. This is where you can find some of the best food and music and drinks at French Quarter Fest. Come on. Okay, so my first stop is at Creole Country Cafe. I got the fried chicken and French toast bites, one of my favorites. And of course, the boudin egg rolls. Look at those. Oh yeah. Delicious. Fantastic. Okay, both of these are absolutely delicious. Sweet and savory, if you're into that, that's my favorite thing. They both bring that like crispy, fried, fair food type of vibe, and I love that. Check it out. All right, ladies, tell me your names.
Lisa, Gron, Patsy.
Okay, and why are you out here today on the first day?
Beautiful weather, music, friends, meeting friends.
Guests from out of town and relatives.
Okay, you're hosting?
Hosting.
Okay, and I see you're eating some Willie Mays.
Willie Mays.
Is that the food you've had today, or is there anything else?
Yeah, we've been trying a few things, but we got to go with Willie Mays. You can't go wrong.
A classic. All right, thank you both so much. All right, we're out here in the parking lot between Jack's Brewery and H&M, where they've got more drinks and food, including Lufu, Bao Mi, Miss Linda's Yakamane, and they also have the Willow stage out here. All right, guys, this is my favorite festival treat. It's so delicious, the WWOZ Mango Freeze. It tastes like a frozen mango. It's so good, it's so refreshing, and you can find it at Jazz Fest too. I'm out here on the riverfront by the aquarium, and this is the Abita stage. All right, and that's French Quarter Fest. We just scratched the surface, so you're gonna have to come and check it out for yourself. They're here all weekend. I'm Casey with NOLA.com.
Getting started with a Louisiana medical cannabis recommendation is simpler than ever. Just scan the QR code or go to the link on your screen. In 5 minutes or less, you can connect with a licensed provider, get your recommendation, and start legally shopping today. NOLA Cannabis Company has 4 locations across New Orleans, with new ones coming soon to the West Bank and Bourbon Street. They even offer delivery to make it simple. Just scan the QR code or go to the link on your screen. Come with me to Woodhouse Spa in Metairie. They welcomed me with a hot towel infused with essential oils, then I changed into a robe and slippers and relaxed with some tea. I highly recommend the Paris tea. My service started with dry brushing and a body mask, then a mineral bath followed by an amazing Swedish massage. My favorite was the head massage, especially with the essential oils. It was 80 minutes of pure relaxation and I left feeling completely refreshed. I highly recommend Woodhouse Spa if you want to treat yourself.
In my Louisiana, jazz has a way of making me sway.
Cajun goes way into the night.
Zydeco is the only way to move me. It's right.
In my Louisiana, blues is a way of life.
When you find your Louisiana, you feed your soul.
So you like things curated with a little extra care? Good. This city doesn't do ordinary. It does unforgettable. A little indulgence? Of course, you've earned it. Culture? We wrote the book. Where dinner is more than a meal, it's an experience. And music? Oh, it finds you. This is New Orleans, curated for you. Get started at NOLA.com.
Hey, I'm Damon Singleton, and I am excited that French Quarter Fest is back for 2026. I am here with the classic man, Doug MacCash, who is going to be talking to us all about some part of the scene that you may have missed in the past. Because I love the music, I love the food, but there's a lot more that goes with it.
That is the truth. I just want to tell people, you know about the music, you know about the food, you're not going to miss that. But also don't miss that you're going to be in the center of one of the city's, heck, the country's great art scenes. Go to the fence around Jackson Square and behind the cathedral, and you'll find great funky artwork from pop art to impressionism, and it's all relatively affordable. This is art that you can go home with.
And it's exciting stuff, no matter where you go, and all the different artists are doing something a little bit different and just presenting it in a different way.
Absolutely,
it's pretty cool.
It's a feast. You'll see 40 artists around the fence. And then stroll over to Royal Street, and you've got a lineup of 20, 25 art galleries, one right after the other, once again with a whole range of characters. Go to see Haruni, go to see Rodrigue, go to see Craig Tracy. You won't be disappointed. It's a feast.
Yeah, and I hope that the folks that come here for this festival, and there's lots of them, I hope they don't miss out on that opportunity to take in the art.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I hope they do too. Make it part of the mission, right? And speaking of the galleries on Royal Street, the manager of the Windsor Fine Art Gallery on Royal Street is also the artist who made the 2026 French Quarter Fest poster, Anne Lipscomb. And I got to speak to her about the poster because it's interesting. The French Quarter Fest is one of the loudest, most colorful events on the calendar in the French Quarter, and yet she took the poster in a whole other direction. It's very moody, it's very handsome and quiet, and she explained to me that to her, that's the great thing about the French Quarter. She says she likes to find those places that are quiet and more solitary, like Pirates Alley, where the poster's set. And she said it's like finding your portal into history. And I love that. And when you look at the poster with that in mind, she did it. She got it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, because the first time I saw the poster, I was like, wow, this is different. Because all the posters from French Quarter Fest or Jazz Fest or any of the festivals are much more lively, as you described. And so to make it so melancholy is really interesting.
It is interesting, and once you know that this is her personal take, it makes it all the more appropriate in a way. This is somebody who knows the French Quarter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think people.
Go ahead.
I just think people are going to be happy to have this poster down the line on their.
I think they will too. So let me ask you: Do you have a favorite artist or a favorite, artist during French Quarter Fest?
Oh golly! There's so many. I do not. I don't have a single favorite. I think the thing is, the wonderful thing is how eclectic it is. That you can really start at Haruni Gallery he's an expressionist, big portraits of sort of shadowy, mysterious characters, and you go down to Rodrigue, the late George Rodrigue, who painted the Blue Dog, and which was such an icon of the state for a while. Go further down, and Craig Tracy does this remarkable thing where he doesn't paint nudes. He paints nudes. He invites models to his gallery and literally paints them, and he does this fool the eye technique where he makes them look like actual butterflies or actual tigers, that sort of thing. And it's a can't miss experience because it's just fascinating to see how he does it.
Man, oh man, I have not seen that, so I've got to take that in myself.
Yeah.
You know, we there's this thing goes for several days, and so I mean, if you're trying to take in the music and take in the food, certainly you've got plenty of time to do the art as well. Something you definitely don't want to miss.
That's what I'm here to tell you.
Well, you know, we've got a great art scene here. We've got a great festival scene here. I'm glad you are here to talk to us about it. Doug MacCash, it's great to have you here. And oh man, I'm really excited about French Quarter Fest 2026.
If you're in New Orleans and get the feminine urge to make a charm necklace, the Bead shop is the way to go. At the charm bar, you pick your chain, pick your charms, and they assemble it. Make a reservation online. The assembly fee is $15, but that doesn't include your chain or charms. They give you a sheet to track everything, and I had to retrace my steps like an idiot. I knew I wanted a gold chain, but choosing which gold chain? Very hard. Chains cost between $6 to $70, and charms range from 50 cents to $25. Then it was charm time! I had zero plans, so I just grabbed whatever I liked and hoped it would look good. You get 7 charms included. Once I had my charms, the staff helped me arrange everything because my brain was done. They checked the order, spacing, chain length, everything, and made sure I loved it. Here it is! It's so feminine, trendy, I love it so much, and I'm so happy I went to the Bead shop.
Well, thanks for joining us. And thank you to our sponsors, NOLA.com and ExploreLouisiana.com. We'll be back next week from Jazz Fest. Be sure to wear your sunscreen, and we'll see you next week.